Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're doing very, very, very well. Okay, so I am currently obviously not in my main setup right now. I am in Paris, France, which is my favorite city in the entire world. It is always a toss-up between this and New York. And I'm here with my parents, and I've been here for 2 days so far, and I am having so much fun. I absolutely adore this city. And fun fact, I was supposed to do this trip with my parents last year, this time as well, for my mom's birthday, and it ended up being cancelled a couple hours before we were supposed to fly because my dog sitter fled the country and no one was there to look after my animals, so we had to lose the money on the entire trip. So we're doing a redo of it this year, and we're doing Disney Paris and everything. So I'm super excited to finally, spend time with both my parents and stuff. I go on trips with my mom, and I never really get to bring my dad, so I'm very excited to bring him. But anyway, I wanted to sit down here and talk about a couple things. So I want to have as honest as I can without telling everything, but also telling a little bit more and kind of lifting the curtain a little bit to kind of let people know where I'm at with Trisha Paytas and what has been happening, because there's been a lot of talk on social media after something I've said recently, and I don't want to get things misinterpreted. I'm also getting, backlash. There's people praising it, and I just wanted to have an honest conversation, let you know where I'm at with Trisha, let you know what has happened with Trisha behind the scenes, and kind of go from there. I kind of loosely talked about this on my stream one of the last days, but I thought obviously not everyone watches the streams, and I thought it would be much easier to just sit down and do this. So I'm going to do that. So as we're all aware, Trisha Paytas and Colleen Ballinger, their names have been brought up a lot in the conversation of what has been happening. And a big reason for that is I said online that Trisha was a big player to do with Colleen, and Colleen would often talk to me about Trisha. She would often make fun of Trisha to me, and whether that had to do with things Trisha was posting online or whether that had to be with sending me Trisha Paytas's, it was OnlyFans videos, but it was Patreon back then because it was 2017, 2018, back whenever I was like 14, 15. And obviously that has been one of the biggest things people have been talking about on social media because Colleen Ballinger, was sending, pornographic images to a minor of Trisha Paytas and basically making fun of Trisha. And this story got further validated whenever Johnny came forward and said that Colleen also was sending him these things, and we spoke privately, and then he decided to go public with his things, so I decided to go public with mine. Basically the same context, the same photos. Johnny posted all of them on the internet, and it had to do, Colleen would send a photo of Trisha naked and would be like, you look so good here, you look so hot, or in my case it would, be the exact same context. And so it seemed that possibly it was just us, or possibly there were other people she was also doing this with. Johnny provided proof of, Colleen doing these viewing parties of Trisha's OnlyFans content, where she would, invite her friends over. They would watch Trisha's OnlyFans videos and like make fun of her body and stuff. And Colleen would send Johnny pictures when they were doing these things, and Johnny posted them all on the internet. And I know a lot of people had been giving Johnny criticism for the fact he posted them online, and, Johnny, how do you think Trisha's going to respond to this? And I think one thing to note as well is this is such a complex, very confusing, very uncomfortable topic for especially both me, Johnny, and especially Trisha whenever it has to do with, things that happened to me as a minor, things that happened to Johnny whenever he was like really early 20s, and Trisha, who did not know that this was happening. And so what has happened since that, obviously, was, I had been tweeting over the years, and I had been letting Trisha know that Colleen Ballinger had been bullying her and was not a real friend to her, and I didn't want Trisha to get hurt the same way I or other people had been hurt from Colleen. Trisha never really took that on board, and that was always something I gave Trisha criticism for. It was always like, I feel like I'm screaming into the void of like trying to protect you and trying not to let you get your feelings further hurt by Colleen. And, it seemed like I was screaming this into a void and nothing was ever being said of it. And I gave Trisha a lot of criticism for that. And I'm going to talk about that and where I'm at with that now. And one of the things that really bothered me, just speaking completely honest, is that after all of that and people letting Trisha know about this, because these things have been out there and talked about for a while, Trisha decided to do the podcast with Colleen, the Oversharing podcast, where both of them sat down, they published 3 episodes, and Trisha has let me know that there was another episode that they filmed, and it was filmed the week that my video was dropped on Colleen. when all of this kicked off again, when Cody made that original video, and whenever I responded, that was when they filmed their episode that has not went public. And I kind of had speculated myself that there was other episodes that weren't. There is someone watching me outside of the window, like literally in their balcony. Should I wave? Are they gonna wave back? Oh, they waved back. They waved back. Enjoy. You can watch it on YouTube later, babe. You can watch it on YouTube later, or you can just watch the live show now. God, they're waving back. This is so awkward. Anyway, I'm filming this in front of like a big window because it's the only light source. Oh wow, they're really not moving. Wow, that's crazy. Anyway, I had speculated that there was another episode to be coming out and that they had filmed another one, and Trisha did confirm this to me and said that, you know, she chose not to publish it. So yeah, I'd been giving Trisha shit online for this and like publicly endorsing Colleen then after I'd been trying to let her know all this stuff, even just that happened to her personally. And by the way, I'm aware Trisha Paytas has her own shit online, very much so. Please, like, if anyone, like, I'm very, very, very aware of that, and I'm not ignorant to that whatsoever. I was just letting her know of the situation to do with Colleen, and it felt like nothing was ever... I always felt like I was being perceived as being dramatic or, you know, lying or something, because I was never taken on board, and then, look, she's doing a podcast with her. So I recently saw that on Trisha's new podcast, Just Trish, she had an episode that was talking about the Vanity Fair article that, you know, went live with Colleen Ballinger. And in it was very, very, very interesting. Trisha and me, you know, obviously have had our tiffs before because I cover things to do with Trisha in the past, and I completely get that. I completely understand that. Like, me and Trisha, again, just speaking honest with you, have went through a lot of up and downs together. There has been periods where me and Trisha have been like following each other and DMing each other. There has been periods where me and Trisha have each other blocked. There's periods where we just have each other unblocked and don't interact with each other. And then there's periods where we follow each other. Like, for me and Trisha, it's been such a roller coaster. I have no personal relationship with her. She has no personal relationship with me. I'm just speaking like, whether you want to call it professionally or whatever, just to do with YouTube, that has been the extent of my interactions with Trisha, right? And Trisha had me blocked for the longest time. She's actually unblocked me now. She had me blocked for a good couple months, and she talks about this in the podcast episode. And I talked about this on a stream I uploaded a couple days ago, so I'm going to kind of keep this to new information rather than rehashing. But if you're not aware, she says that the reason she had blocked me was because of comments that I had made about her daughter. And I explained the context of those comments that I'd made on Twitter. It was basically to do with, it was around the time when the Queen Elizabeth reincarnation as Malibu Barbie jokes were happening on social media. And as an Irish person, especially an Irish person from Derry, I very much so hate the monarchy, and I hate the Queen, hated the Queen, hate her now, glad to see her gone. And when the jokes about her being reincarnated were happening on social media, I was very much so speaking against it and making like fun of it. And oh, they've closed the windows. Was the show not good enough? You had a little peek. And one of these was Pop Crave, which is a Twitter account that covers like pop culture, had tweeted, and they were like, Queen Elizabeth is close to dying or something like that. And then they had tweeted, Trisha Paytas is about to give birth or something like that. And I tweeted, and I shouldn't have. I said, oh my God, little baby Satan is incoming, in reference to their other tweet, which was about Queen Elizabeth dying and everyone saying that Trisha Paytas was going to be having the reincarnation of Queen Elizabeth. It was a joke that fell flat, and it was a joke that, with no context, looked like I was literally bullying her unborn child. And the fact that it was perceived like that is completely my fault for, you know, expecting people to know the context. I know a lot of people did. If you were on my Twitter timeline, you would have seen that the literally hundreds of tweets I was doing about a Queen Elizabeth and stuff like that. However, it's my fault for not making that clear enough, and I apologize to Trisha for this. But she opens the podcast with saying that this is why she has me blocked. She doesn't have me blocked because of the Colleen thing, or she never believed me, which was nice for her to say. And she is very supportive of me in this podcast. She speaks about how wrong this Vanity Fair article is, and it was a really, really, really sweet, nice video on it. She didn't have to talk about it. And here's my thing. Hearing Trisha talk in the podcast about reasons she doesn't want to speak about the Colleen situation with things that she's gone through in her own life, My wine is here. I'm very excited. Hold on. Okay, my wine has arrived, so I'm going to pour a glass while we continue this discussion. I actually forget what I was talking about, but look at this. All right, we've got a Bordeaux, French Bordeaux. Hello, Bordeaux. I promise I'm not even drunk yet. All right, let's pour a little bit of this. Do you want this signed? Do you love it? Ooh, we got some nuts too. Cashews, love it. All right, let's continue this discussion. Oh, wow, they're good. So, I may forget exactly the train of thought that I was on, but where was I? Oh, I had been given Trisha criticism for not speaking up because I was, like, upset. And that's what it was. I was upset that I felt that, like, the story wasn't being, like, believed or respected or something like that, right? And I completely take that back because hearing Trisha alone in the podcast talk about the reasons that she didn't want to talk about the situation and how it, particularly triggered her, I feel really bad. And I wasn't being sensitive at all towards Trisha. And that is my fault. And that was me being incredibly selfish, if I'm being 100% honest. It was me being selfish. I was so frustrated that I felt that what I was saying wasn't being believed, that I was almost like pushing someone to talk about it. And I really do apologize to Trisha for that, and I have apologized to Trisha for that privately, but I want to do it publicly because it was selfish of me. I was expecting someone to speak out because I wanted to feel validated in what happened to me, and Trisha was the person that would do that. And Trisha continuing to work with Colleen made me feel invalidated in the fact that I was trying to, tell her what was happening. But hearing Trisha say the reasons that she didn't want to talk about it, it's completely understandable and completely reasonable, and I really, really, really feel bad for acting that way. And furthermore, after Trisha, talked about it on the podcast, and by the way, her podcast host is really sweet and does a really good job. So shout out to him. But anyway, I emailed Trisha, and I kind of briefly talked about this, and I said that I sent an email, and it was along the lines of, here is the context of the Malibu Barbie tweet that I did. It was making fun of Queen Elizabeth purely, and it was attacking the monarchy, and it was a joke that out of context did look like I was making fun of your baby, and I promise you I wasn't. It was this context. However, it's my fault for it even being allowed to be interpreted in that way, and I apologized for that. And then I went on to say, in terms of the Colleen situation, I'm also sorry for what happened to you from Colleen, and, I also apologize for wanting you to talk so badly about the situation because I was so hurt in the situation and not even thinking about how you were hurt in the situation, and I apologized for that. And I also, kind of told her a little bit of information about Colleen as well, and this kind of thing. I didn't expect Trisha to respond. I really didn't expect Trisha to respond, and I did get a response. Hold on, I want to try this wine so bad. I just love being in Paris because it's an excuse to drink wine at any time. Actually, it is 5 p.m. here, so it's 5 p.m. somewhere, and that somewhere is Paris. So, so good. Anyway, I didn't expect Trisha to respond to the email. Again, Trisha had me blocked on Twitter. Didn't expect anything to come of this, but I wanted to do it for myself because in watching her cover this on her podcast, I saw that she was hurt herself, and I'm going to be honest, that made me feel really shitty and made me, as it should have, and I wanted to reach out to her. And I'm so glad I did. And I end up getting an email back from her, and I'm not going to read the email, and I'm not really going to say a lot of, like, the important stuff she said, just out of respect. But I do think that there are some things in it that are important to include in kind of how me and Trisha personally are moving forward and how the situation is kind of unfolding behind the scenes. So, first and foremost, I want to say that Trisha did unblock me on social media. I also want to say that me and Trisha Paytas have no relationship. Nor do I want to have one with her, nor does she want to have one with me. This is purely us relating on a situation that has happened to both of us that involves both of us. This Colleen thing involves both me and Trisha, and we're both affected by it. and we relate on that, and we can talk about that without Trisha having to endorse me or me having to endorse Trisha. And the reason I want to talk about this is someone tweeted, and I want to read it out real quick, and then I'll get to kind of what the email was about without basically, just reading it out to you. So someone tweeted me after I tweeted and said, "Thank you at Trisha Paytas for your incredibly kind and validating email. I don't see anything wrong with me publicly thanking her for that because it was a great email." And by the way, this woman wrote me like a dissertation. When I saw that she had emailed me, I was shocked because I didn't. Okay, there's now two people at the window staring. Hi guys. I didn't expect her to respond, and I also didn't expect her to respond and open up as much as what she did. And so I felt the need to privately and publicly acknowledge that. Someone responds to me and goes, "I'm disappointed to see you seemingly redeem someone who's just as problematic as Colleen." That was in response to my tweet that was simply, "Thank you at Trisha Paytas for your incredibly kind and validating email." And I responded. And I said, "See, this is very weird to me. For so long, Trisha didn't speak on what I said happened to me from Colleen to her, and Trisha has both apologized for not speaking out sooner and has also said that she believes me behind the scenes and publicly. This is so validating to me beyond words, and to hear Trisha say these things to me has done wonders, making me feel like I'm not fucking crazy about Colleen Ballinger sending me Trisha's nudes when I was a kid. This is not me tweeting, 'Yes, love you, Trishy Fishy.' This is me literally appreciating being heard for what I said and have been saying about Colleen for a long time." And I'm going to double down on that. I did get criticism for that tweet. Literally the one that was like, "Thank you, Trisha, for your validating email." And I was like, in no way is this me ever talking about even things Trisha has done. This is speaking about this one isolated incident that Trisha has every right to speak on, and I have every right to speak on. But anyway, let's get to the email, right? So she opens up about the real reason that she didn't speak up sooner about this situation to do with why it affects her. And I'll kind of leave it there for that. But again, it was something that I wanted to come on here and publicly say that I am sorry for ever pushing her to have to comment on something. Even though it involved both of us, but it was not me being sensitive, I'm going to be honest. And I apologize for that. And the other thing I want to say is, for people out there that are wondering why Trisha is really not speaking about Colleen, but, has spoken about other people in the past or whatever, and Colleen has arguably done her worse out of any of her friends, I thought the same thing. But I can promise you after this email, please do not take Trisha Paytas' silence right now as her endorsing, excusing, or that she's not going to act on what Colleen has done. I'm not saying she is, but hearing how passionately she spoke about what had happened to me and Johnny and how she was involved in that without her knowledge and consent, very passionate about it. And just, I want to say that. Please do not take her not speaking about this right now as her just wanting to move on or not caring about the situation. It is completely the opposite. And I'm going to be honest, I am currently in a position where I'm trying to figure out what I want to do next. If I'm just speaking 100% honest with you, I'm trying to figure out what to do now. Because there were some things, said in this email that, again, I can't really say much, but I'm trying to figure out, what I want to do next. Because Colleen Ballinger texted Trisha basically confirming that she did do these things. And I was literally a child when she did these things. And again, this is not in any way wanting a relationship with Trisha, nor does Trisha want one with me. We've both made that very clear with each other. We respect and feel bad for each other in this situation, but we're leaving it at that. And that's valid. That's mature in us both going through something we're having to deal with, right? And basically, moving forward, there are some things that obviously I need to get back to Trisha on. And I'm trying to figure out if I want to respond to that or if I want my parents to respond to those or if I want my lawyer to respond to those. That's where we're at right now. again, I'm not going to say what was in the contents of these emails. And in no way is this me being like, I know something you don't. This is literally just, I wanted to come on here and make this video because there was a lot of talk about like Adam seemingly, endorsing Trisha Paytas. And it's not like that at all. It's like, I have been wanting Trisha to speak about this, and people have been wanting Trisha to speak about this, especially because she was so heavily promoting Colleen. And now she is, and people are like, oh, well, we don't want you to talk. And I'm like, you can acknowledge that you do not like Trisha Paytas and also be sympathetic towards what she's going through right now, or at least be sympathetic towards how me, Johnny, and Trisha are trying to fucking deal with this, especially since Colleen is acknowledging and confirming that it happened behind the scenes. It's a very, very, very slippery slope that it's very confusing behind the scenes. I know Trisha's frustrated and confused. I know Johnny is frustrated and confused. And I know I sure as damn hell are frustrated and confused because this is one of the biggest things to come out of this. Colleen sending Trisha's nudes to us. So this is like one of the heaviest topics to do with this current situation. And it needs to be treated in such way. And I'm not going to speak about Johnny in this because I haven't spoken with Johnny about this. But I know that me and Trisha are taking this very seriously, and I'm sure as hell Johnny is too from what I've talked to him in the past about it. The only reason I'm not saying anything on the record about him is because I haven't spoken to him recently about it. We spoke ages ago before either of us said it publicly, right? All right, let's get back into this. My camera died. So yeah, please, I'm trying my best, and Johnny is trying his best, and Trisha is trying her best, in this situation. And I'm completely, first of all, this was something that came up in the emails between me and Trisha. Like, we're aware why people might discredit us or might not like us and stuff like that, and that's valid. And again, me and Trisha have our issues, and we're trying our best to put them, they are really just sitting at that window, mama. You can watch this. Oh, and there's someone 2 windows above as well. That is. Oh, and they're doing a cigarette as well. Oh, they're just enjoying the show. Babies, you can see this on YouTube later if you want. Oh, and I'm filming beside an office space that also has all the windows open, and I'm sitting here, windows fully open with a gay ass pink mic. Love it. But anyway, this to me, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm struggling with it because it's a very, very, very slippery slope. The situation at hand is a very slippery slope, but also, I'm also, that point about me and Trisha having our issues, I am putting those aside because we are in agreement about this one situation, and I'm focusing on that one situation, and I fully am on her side in that situation, and she has told me she's fully on my side in this situation. So I want people to know, for the people that are saying like, how dare Adam, this means that Adam loves Trisha Paytas. This means Adam McIntyre is endorsing Trisha Paytas. I want you to know that we're openly talking behind the scenes about, we want to put our issues aside because we both agree that this is so fucked up what happened and something needs to be done about it. So for those people that are saying that they're disappointed in me because I'm talking about Trisha or to Trisha, I just want to say that I understand it. And I'm also aware of the fact that people may be disappointed that Trisha's talking to me. This goes both ways as well. But I want you to know that in this specific instance, me and Trisha have so much to talk about with this, and this is something I have wanted to hear her opinion on. This is something that she wants to hear my opinion on, and I'm completely sympathetic towards the fact that people may not like Trisha, but I want you to know that within this situation, she has every right to speak out. She has not only every right to speak out, but she has every right to make 1,000 videos on this. And she said something similar in the email, which is like, I hope people don't discredit you because you're talking about this so much, because you deserve to talk about this so much. And by the way, some of these things need to be talked about a lot to do with the sending of the nudes, right? And I think that that's such an important, thing, which is like, I never thought that I would ever have Trisha Paytas hearing me out on what Colleen Ballinger did. Nor talking to me privately about like what we should do or how do we feel or something. And I just want people to know that my opinion on Trisha with this is strictly to do with this. I am not focusing on anything other than the situation at hand, because I think that that's all that I can really do right now. And I'm going to be completely honest with you, because everything has been so fucking overwhelming. And to be speaking directly with the person that is directly involved with this is also a lot to handle. And I'm really struggling to keep up with everything. And I'm struggling to... And everything feels so real, and it's like struggling to process it. So I just want you to know that, like, Trisha being so kind in that email and being so validating was something that was so beneficial to me just personally, but also allows us to kind of figure out where we're at with this, talk about it. And I do want to publicly say thank you, Trisha Paytas, for this email. That does not mean I adore Trisha Paytas. That does not mean Trisha Paytas adores me. It means that we are both in this fucked up situation together, and we're trying to figure out how to deal with it. We're trying to figure out how to deal with it. And I am so thankful for her email. I thought it was... She could have even just focused on the fact of the Colleen thing, but she was being so sweet about other things, and also being so real with me. Like, calling me out in parts and talking about it. Like, it was a good-ass email. And... very well written, by the way. I was a little bit gagged. But I just want to let you know that that's the update right now. And for the people that are coming for me, you know, saying like, how dare you talk with Trisha, and how dare you complain to be a victim, yet you're talking to Trisha Paytas, I just want to let you know that I'm trying my best. And this certain instance directly involves Trisha. And it's really vital for me to be talking, or at least it was vital for me to have even just one line of communication once to Trisha about this, to make me feel like I'm not fucking crazy. Because when I was saying that publicly, and then she created a podcast with Colleen, I felt fucking crazy. So I want to say thank you to Trisha for that. And I also want to say the last thing I'll say is I want to say thank you to Trisha as well for like being honest. She was honest about the fact that they have a podcast episode that is not going to see the light of day anymore. You know, it was filmed the week after, or a couple days after I posted my first video, when the news things happened, and, you know, she was believing what Colleen told her. And you know what? I was under Colleen's web for so many years that I can't diss anyone else that was under it. She knows what she's doing when she plays people. And Trisha's also dealing with thinking that someone who was her friend was doing this shit to her behind the scenes, and I can't even imagine how that feels, especially when it's coming to, like, bullying your body, and then having the audacity to, like, go to that person's house and smile and tell them that everybody's beautiful and stuff. So, with this instance, I do want to send Trisha love. And with this specific instance, I also want to say thank you to Trisha, because she has made me feel incredibly heard and incredibly validated. And I'm going to be honest with you, just, it's a lot right now. I don't know what the next move is. And I know Trisha feels the same. But I'm going to leave it with a thank you again to Trisha. And we'll leave it there. That's what's happening right now. I know a lot of people were wondering what happened in the email, what's happening now. Being 100% honest with you, that's everything that's happened. That's everything that's happened. And again, I do want to say a public thank you to Trisha. And I also want to say a public I'm sorry for ever pushing her to have to speak about something. But I'm really, really, really glad that she has, both publicly and privately. And again, within this specific instance, I really do want to say thank you to her. And I did want to keep you in the loop, because a lot of people were asking what's happening. That's what's happening. So cheers to that, I guess. Cheers. This was just an excuse because I wanted to take a sip. And we'll leave it there. I hope you're all doing well. If you have any questions, I'll try my best to answer as many of them as possible without literally telling information that other people are telling me privately. And again, if anyone, you know, thinks this video is weird, I promise you that I'm, like, not telling the contents of this email, and I haven't in this video. Those were just some important things I wanted to focus on. And we'll leave it there. I hope you're all having a beautiful day. I'm going to go enjoy my wine. I'm going to go enjoy Paris. And I will see you very soon. And goodbye.